Oh, okay, I didn't notice it. I was wondering last time I'm doing that. Oh, hello, good YouTubers, boys and girls, or whatever the fuck you want to fucking call your fucking self. Like, I give a fucking goddamn shit what you fucking call yourself, you know? Oh, and for those wondering, I don't. And so, there you go. We've got some dabs today. Some Jack Herrera, the legal stuff. Look, the Canadian tax seal on it. See? End Game, it's called. It says here, warning, the higher the THC content of a product, the more likely you are to experience adverse effects and greater levels of impairment. THC can also cause anxiety, impaired memory, and impaired concentration. One can only hope, right? Like, isn't that the reason you buy the shit in the first place? And so, anyways, there we go. We got the corporate sludge. We're gonna do a big fat dab, fuck up some goddamn fucking shit. I can't make big long things with this stuff because it's hard as a fucking rock. I'll show you a little piece here. Looks awesome, right? The one good thing about this legal stuff, if they're forced to follow so many fucking regulations, that usually it's pretty good. But yeah, you gotta heat it up a bit to pick it up because, like I said, hard as a rock. And so there we go. We got a nice big dab there, the Jack Herrera. Gonna try it out. Like, when it's this legal stuff, there's one thing you don't have to worry about, and that's impurities in it or anything, because it just wouldn't pass the fucking regulator. That's why most of them are going broke, because they got to throw 90% of the stuff they grow in the garbage because it didn't meet the standards. Anyways, well, one of the many reasons, of course. And so here we go. I haven't had any shatter in, I don't know, a month or so, eh, folks? It's been a while. And so there, in Canada, there's no such thing as medical. It's all the same, right? There's a marijuana store, and they don't give a fuck. If you're over 18, you can buy marijuana. They don't want to hear if you're sick or not, and it's totally illegal for them to give you any kind of advice. God forbid you'd sue their ass, if they did. And so they don't care what your problems are. They ain't gonna tell you what's better or what's worse. They just go, there's the menu, pick your shit. And so yeah, we don't have a store for medical and one for not. It's one store for all. But let's say you do get a prescription from your doctor, because you can still in Canada get a prescription from your doctor. That prescription doesn't help you buy marijuana at any different price or at a different store or anything like that. No, but what it will help you do is during your taxes, you can file the marijuana as a medical expense and make it tax deductible. And that's all you get. And yeah. And unless you're making the big bucks, you're probably not going to notice anything. Yeah. I don't know what a shitcoin is, but only a moron puts money into digital money, right? I mean, You got to know, it's just like these fucking digital fucking art prints that people say are the latest thing to get scammed on, really. There, there is no such thing as secure data. It just don't exist, folks. All you can do is make it the challenge of getting in not worth the reward. You know, that's all you can really do. And so, or have somebody monitoring the data that comes and goes 24 hours a day, which is another method. But anyways, and so these places, these fucking digital money or digital art pieces or whatever, are, you know, some 14-year-old in their mother's basement hacks their fucking main server and steals all your money. As we know, it's happened what, more times than I can count with almost all the different exchanges that exist. Oh yeah. And so here we go. Big fat dab. You know, all you can do, folks, in those things is hope you can find a sucker that was stupider than you to buy it off of you, right? Oh yeah, 'cause that's all that investment is. It's a sucker's game. And so you were the first sucker, and hopefully there's somebody more stupid than you that'll pay even more for it. You know? But there's no intelligent investment going on there, that's for sure. And so here we go, fire in the hall. Oh, there's some shit, and it's all fucked up now. You know when you've been smoking flower for 2 months? And then, you know, and then you take a shit of this stuff. Fucks you out. It does. And look at all this information they put on here, folks. You ready? Almost all of it's 100% bullshit, right? Because it's impossible to actually know. But we'll go through it and share it with you. First, this stuff's called White Rhino, Jack Herrera crossed with White Rhino, so it says that. And it says net weight 1 gram. It was actually 1.07 grams. So there you go. Then it goes terpenes total 2.381%. Okay, a little more details than I needed. That's also impossible information to actually know, right, folks? Now you're going to say, yeah, they can test it and know that information. And you're right, they can test it. The thing is, the bud they tested, they can't sell it to you now because it's gone through the testing solution. And every bud on the plant will read differently. Not to mention, once you've picked it, it's constantly changing its chemical composition day by day, hour by hour. And so depending on when you bought it, you know, and so this is information that's basically just put on there to help sell the product, you know, like Canada Dry saying they have real ginger in their ginger ale when lab tests have shown they can't even find minute fucking specks of ginger ale, as in there's none at all in that stuff. And so it's basically the same thing, 100% bullshit. And then it says THC here, 44.4 milligrams. Oh, good times. Total THC, 777.9 milligrams. This is all information that they basically fabricate, you know. Mind you, in shatter, it's easier to measure because the shatter doesn't really change. So in shatter, this is probably correct information. But when you see the same information on buds, well, that's at best an educated guess, right? But more likely just total complete bullshit. I mean, if you made up random numbers, you'd be equally as close, probably. And so, yeah, and it says CBD here, 2.5 milligrams, total CBD, 2.5 milligrams. Blah, 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 blah. And so there you go. This extract of 1 gram contains the equivalent of 4 grams of dried cannabis. That seems about right. I can do better, but I probably grew better weed, I guess, than these people. Usually I can do it with an eighth, which is 3.5 grams, so it's pretty close. You know, only a half gram off. And so, yeah, packaged on 2022-04-12. So what's that, 2 months ago? Not too bad. No expiry date has been determined. And so there you go. That's what it's all about. But like I say, in shatter, which this is, all this information can be accurate, because if you test one piece of the shatter, odds are the whole block is pretty much like that. And shatter doesn't change its chemical composition day by day. It has a shelf life, especially if you put it in the fridge, pretty much forever. And so I've had shatter, folks, that was 7 years old at my other place in Vancouver. That I remember we used to do all kinds of experiments, and well, it was just as good as when it was fresh, pretty much. You really couldn't tell the difference. But it was in the fridge and sealed in darkness and the whole time. Now, if you leave it on your counter, it's a little different. But anyways, we're going to do another big fat dab. Fuck up our shit. But yeah, you see people, they buy this bud and they say it has like 24% of its fucking THC, and one, that's pretty high number for plant matter. Imagine they're claiming that almost a quarter of the plant is THC when it's not even visible by the eye, you know? Meanwhile, there's all the green matter and everything else and all the other stuff that makes the plant. It's a pretty high number, right? But because they probably tested the best possible bud possible, and at the very tip of it, you need very little for testing. I used to hang out at the Sublimator factory, and they had one of these testing facilities, folks, and we used to test all kinds of stuff. And you need very little, just a tiny, tiny bit. And yeah, and so what you do to get the rates like these 25% is they take the tip of the top bud, the best bud on the whole plant, and just that tiny tip right at the edge. And now we throw that in there. Oh yeah, and you might come up with that figure. Otherwise, usually, 12, 14% is pretty good. And, but yeah, like I say, these numbers can only be guessed at because it's in flower, it's changing moment by moment. Depends on the packaging too, which bud was on the plant. Each bud is different. Oh yeah, you can even tell by smoking it, You smoke a bud at the top of the plant, and then you smoke a bud at the middle of the plant. It's pretty obvious to most people. So, folks, I saw this news story the other day. We're still laughing about these stupid people. So there's these people on the beach. I don't know where the fuck this shitty beach is, right? There's actually a few fucked up stories. And some sea lions come on the beach because they want to get off the rocky side and go into the sandy shore, right? It's pretty obvious. And so all the people on the beach start to scream and yell hysteria and run for their lives. It's pretty hilarious. I mean, a sea lion. Nobody's ever been mauled by. I Googled it, folks, because I was curious. And I can't even find somebody ever getting killed by a sea lion in North America. Now, I did find one story back in 2018, folks. It was a little 14-year-old girl in fucking Australia who got mauled by a sea lion. She's still fucking alive and she's 14. You know? I mean, it's a fucking sea lion. Yeah, it has some big tusks, but it's a pretty docile creature. You know? I'd be more concerned about my neighbor's fucking cat. I would. Than the fucking sea lion. That sea lion wouldn't even make me get off under my umbrella, you know? Just wave it. Hey, have a fun day. This fucking some stupid people. Like totally ignorant of the wildlife around them and how it works, you know, because they live in a world where there is no wildlife or anything wild at all left. You know, like my brother lives in downtown Japan. They don't even have a living tree within like 50 blocks of their apartment building. They have trees line the side of the road, folks, but they're not real ones. No, they're made out of rubber and plastic. No exaggeration here, folks. It's how they do it over there. Totally devoid of fucking any natural world in their lives. And it was obvious what it was doing. It was leaving the rocky section to enter the water from the sandy shore, right? Like just like people like to do. And so that's how it is. They're fucked up people, right? At least they didn't get shot. Here in Canada, folks, if any wildlife encroaches on humans, they just shoot it, right? These fucking scumbag conservation officers we have here. You know, I wish some animal would take their gun and shoot them with it. Oh, folks, there was a few years ago, there was a guy in Port Coquitlam, and they were going to shoot a bear in his backyard, and he assaulted the guy with a stick, and the bear got away, and he went to court. I was like, some heroes don't wear capes, you know? This guy was fucking awesome. I'd do the same if he was in my yard. Be like, bam! There you go. That's worth the assault charges. What will I get? A $200 fine? Yeah. And so, as we know, folks, as the old saying goes, if you can't do the time, you do the crime in Canada, right? Yeah, I wouldn't even spend more than an hour and a half in jail, probably. And so, yeah, I don't know what happened to that Port Coquitlam guy, but as you know, folks, probably nothing. They like to say they were arrested, you know, but they never give you the final results. Oh, yeah, he was arrested and taken away. And now everybody can feel good that the bad man is gone. But reality is, bad man was released 4 hours later and charges were dropped. Altogether, he doesn't even have to deal with court, because that's usually the case. I know it was many times with me and all the people I worked with, and so there we go. I had a friend, folks. He pushed somebody into traffic. Now, we don't need to say any names or anything, but yeah, he pushed somebody into traffic. Somebody you guys have seen before on my show. This guy was a scumbag piece of shit, and the world was better off without this person, and that's why he got pushed into traffic. But yeah, he got pushed into traffic. The guy got fucking hit by a bus. As you could imagine, he didn't survive. And my friend, well, at first he got away with it for about 4 months, right? They just figured it was an accident or a suicide. But there was a radar camera at that location, I guess. And so eventually the camera footage showed that he pushed them into traffic. Oh, yeah. So they arrested him, sort of, folks. They came to his house and talked to him and told him there's going to be some charges. And then they gave him like a promise to appear letter. Yeah, folks, this is a guy who's like murdered somebody, basically, you know. And they gave him a promise to appear in court notice. And that's it. And then they left, right? Anyways, he then went down to the courthouse, and he had an envelope full of some money. I don't know the figure, but it don't take much when you only make 50,000 a year at some clerical job at the courthouse, right? And so maybe like $2,000 or something. And he just brings up the case. And do you know what happened, folks? The person came back, took the envelope, and came back and told him that your case has gone missing. It just don't exist. I guess charges have been dropped. And he never even had to go to court. No. No, I guess it takes a certain kind of dude to pull off that kind of move, but you know, he was that kind of dude. So anyways, fire in the hall. I did the same thing once, but for a different charge that was much more minor. And I paid in American funds. In Canada, American money is more exciting, you know? So you got an envelope full of American $100 bills. They're more exciting than Canadian $100 bills in an envelope. It's just how it is. Oh, folks, have you heard? The American dollar is now equal to the fucking euro. Oh, yeah, the European Union, folks, where their money used to be worth over twice. Going down the toilet real fast. Oh, there. You know? It's the final spin before you finally get flushed down the drain. Oh, yeah. They're not doing well. I mean, they have nothing, folks. People have been living there a long time. The land's been raped, pillaged, fucking looted over and over and over again, to the point there's just nothing left to rape, pillage, and loot. And like right now, as you know, they're trying to boycott the fucking Russians, but they're having a hard time because they need them for various resources because, well, they don't have any of that shit because they've looted and pillaged and raped till there's nothing left. Mind you, they've never even tried to look for oil, which, who knows if it's there or not. Like, I know nothing about this shit. But, you know, be worth looking around for at least. Or maybe there's a reason it's not there. I don't know. But yeah, they don't have much oil industry in Europe in general. Never really have made an attempt. Matter of fact, most of the countries are anti-oil. Like Germany, for one, is anti-oil. England, Holland, France. And so these are the ones I know of. They're probably all that way, right? So yeah, Americans are doing really good. Their money's doing well. Just think your one nation is doing better than the whole entire European Union. talk. Not that I'm impressed with this. You. Oh yeah. Well, we're phasing out oil and stuff, but it's going to be a painful transposition. But yeah, you should at least keep what's going, until it's the other things are going. Some people, are just dropped it like Germany. They just dropped their coal and burnt. Well, now they've started up again because they have no choice. But they dropped all these things because they just wanted to force the other way to move faster, right? And yeah, it's created some grief. It has. But yeah. No, electric is far superior and far more efficient, and soon it'll just come from the sun, right? It would have 100 years ago. There were people who wanted things like that to happen then. Folks, back in the 1900s, the electric car was the most popular car in the world. But the battery wasn't the greatest, and when gas came along, it was like you can just drive forever with that, right? But times, 125 years have gone by, and my brother charges his car, his Tesla he has, with a solar. And so right now he pays nothing to drive that car. And then he's like, I go to free charging stations that are all over the place. But even when he has to pay, he's like, I think the last time he said it was like $11 at some Tesla charging center. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wonder how far $11 of gas is going to get you. Yeah, the sun is the source of all life and power. And so any power you can create here on Earth is only power that came from the sun. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist at all. And so, yeah, why have a middleman when you can just grab it from the source? You know? That's how it is. That's what you should be doing. And as the sixth grade extinction gets, less friendly, it'll be impossible to maintain infrastructure that allows, these things to move around freely. And solar can be just moved around with the person, making it far more adaptable for changes and easy to set up and easy to take down again. Oh, yeah. And soon it'll be small. Like right now, it's ridiculously huge. But soon they'll be very small. They're already invented. It's just a matter of making them within people's price range. But there's a company who's made extremely efficient solar panels that are actually paint. So all you gotta do is paint, like your car would be painted with this solar panel paint. And it would just look like your normal metallic paint on the car, but meanwhile it's collecting energy. And they're extremely efficient to the point where they even collect energy in the middle of the night when it's dark, because there's still light coming from the sun. Just because you can't see it don't mean it's not there. And so, yeah. That's how it is. And so soon they can just paint your car with this shit. And now your car never needs to be charged. And you can probably get rid of half the batteries too, Whew. Whew. Oh my gosh. And so there you go. It's going to be. They're going to have really no choice but to move on to electricity for everything because, like I say, the sixth grade extinction eventually won't be as easy to work with as it is right now. And people will probably be forced to migrate on a regular basis. Where an area was really good, suddenly wasn't any good anymore. Maybe an area that wasn't so good, suddenly is really good now. Oh, it's going to be those kinds of situations, you know? Oh, yeah, and then the area you move to that's really good, 5 years go by and suddenly it's not very good anymore. Oh, yeah. Oh, talking about. Oh, the electric car does have an alternator, and so if it's using power to make it move forward, it's using more power than that alternator could create. But when it's rolling down a hill, then it's charging. A lot of them do that, like the Tesla does that. Or when you hit the brakes, also the power from the brake pedal, from the brake pads rubbing up against the thing, also creates power to charge. So it has all these little things. It doesn't create very much, though. Yeah. And it's totally silent. Anyways, talking about the Tesla, they're coming up with a cell phone. I don't know if you heard. Can't be any worse than all the other ones. At one time they were really bad. Now they've dramatically improved. I remember back in the old days, folks, you dropped your phone from 18 inches off the ground and it hit the ground, it just smashed into a million pieces. This phone I'm talking to you on now is 2 years old. It doesn't have a scratch on it. It's bounced off the ground from 3-4 foot falls. I've lost count how many times. Yeah. So they've definitely improved through the years. And the cameras, folks, well, they used to be so shitty. Calling them a camera was, a bit of an exaggeration. But now they're not so bad. Oh, yeah, well, I thought he was going to back out of that deal. Twitter's worthless, right? I think we all know that there's the only real accounts on there are corporate slime. And, the other like 75% of the accounts, if even that low of a number, are bots and fake accounts. Like, who uses fucking Twitter? It died back like so long ago. To me, it died before it started. It was crappy from the beginning. But For a while there, it had a thing. You know, the media uses it to talk to one another. Like I say, only corporate scum use it. No, but no real actual people are on there. Fuck. It's just a scam that one day will explode, you know. And I think that's why he made the offer to try and expose the scam. Now there's going to be some sort of investigation, you know, and yeah, the company's actually worthless, you know. Yeah, nobody really uses Twitter. It was popular from 2008 to about 2011, only because it was constantly growing. Then after that, you know, it really died down. They recently deleted also my Marijuana Man account, which I had since 2008, the year they started. And not that that was a very big account, because once again, it was on Twitter. So this is through an era when I've had millions of followers on every other account, right? That account only had like 5,000. And so, yeah. And so that Twitter, it's just garbage. It's just for corporate scum to communicate to one another. Oh, so I should run. Gonna make some Hawaiian hamburgers tonight. It's gonna be good time. See, I got my Hawaiian shirt on. Aloha. All that other kind of shit. Peace out.